outrage continues to grow surrounding the decision by Donald Trump and his acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, to create a $1.8 billion fund to pay his supporters who believe they have been politically persecuted. That includes people who were convicted of assaulting police officers on January 6th.
These people don't deserve restitution. Many of them deserve to be in prison. I mean, this is just stupid on stilts.
One person eager to submit a claim is Enrique Tarrio, the former head of the Proud Boys, who was convicted of seditious conspiracy. A jury found he helped orchestrate the attack on the Capitol to block the certification of the 2020 election. 140 law enforcement officers were injured during the day-long attack. U.S. District Court Judge Timothy Kelly found that Tarrio's conduct was so egregious it qualified as an act of terrorism and sentenced him to 22 years in prison. But shortly after Trump took office in January 2025, he pardoned Tarrio and the other 1,600 people convicted or charged in the January 6th attack. Will you be applying for payout from the fund?
Depending on what application, the answer is yes. I don't know the process. I mean, everybody's breaking their heads. You know, I've gotten probably 1 million calls in the past 3 days from J6ers that are like, okay, how does this work? And I'm like, look, I'm not a guru. I don't know how this works. I can only speculate. Just look, people don't have to like me. But to say that I got 22 years correctly is wrong. I wasn't there. I was targeted, and I do believe that this fund does apply to me.
Well, when you think about what you think would make you whole, or what would do that, what number do you generally put that at? I mean, are we talking in the millions?
Yeah, definitely. If like we weren't talking about the fund and we were talking about like compensation, some type of restitution for the things that like I went through and my family was put through, yeah, I think it might be in the tens of millions. You know, I know some people are like, oh, well, they owe me $1 billion or whatever. But the truth is, you know, I lost a lot. You know, I was in solitary confinement for 3 years. You know, just in legal fees, right? I'm at like $1.25 million. So even if like,
I mean, you were convicted. I mean, that's
well, look, that's inarguable. We can't argue the fact that I was convicted.
But ultimately, you received a pardon from President Trump. Isn't that compensation enough that you were pardoned and released from prison?
No, to make somebody whole, right? I and J6ers stand on 3 pillars. One is that the convictions need to be overturned, right? Whether through pardon or through the courts, right? Is what we saw just about like a month ago, that we're going to get our sentences vacated. So technically, once that happens, then technically the jury thing goes out the window, right? Because if we're talking about legalities, if our sentences are vacated, that makes it null and void. Then you would ask me that question in about a month, and the answer would be different. I'd be like, no, I didn't get convicted by a jury, my peers. I beat the system. And then the second pillar that we stand on is compensation, all right? Restitution for, again, everything that we went through. And this program starts that, I guess.
You said you've been in touch with J6ers. You know, and I'm assuming many of them, if not all of them, will apply as well. Do you draw any distinction at all between those who were at the Capitol and those who were convicted of assaulting police officers? Should people who physically assaulted, you weren't there at the Capitol, I recognize that, but for those who were there and who were convicted of assaulting police officers, do you think they should have been pardoned, 1? And 2, do you think they should financially now be compensated?
Look, I get the argument that, oh, well, do these people that assault police officers get it? And the truth is, if they were weaponized against, that is the parameter. If they were weaponized against, and it doesn't mean like we're compensating these people just because they assaulted police officers. It's because of the system that they were in. You know, one can say, well, Trump is using the legal system in his benefit. I don't think so, but if Trump can use the legal system to his benefit, then Biden could have done the same thing and did the same thing.
But you understand why the public, a lot of the public, even some Republican members of Congress, are uneasy and do not like the notion of individuals who assaulted police officers getting a financial benefit now.
Well, look, I understand. Oh, if you put it in that light, then I don't think that those members of Congress are being objective, right? Because in this case, you could say, well, they shouldn't get I don't know, Social Security benefits. They shouldn't get that. I get it. People that did bad things, you don't want to give money from the government to, but it doesn't matter to that because the baseline of this is weaponization. Were you persecuted?
So when you talk to other J6ers, what's their reaction? I mean, to all of this.
I think most of them are happy. I think you're going to see a lot of philanthropic endeavors come from this money when it comes to J6ers. J6ers are very adamant on creating changes, and I think that you're going to see people start, maybe some of them will use it to run for office. Local offices don't require a lot of money raised in order to campaign.
We've talked about this in the past. Do you have any intentions, any inkling to wanting to run for office here in South Florida?
Yes, I do. I would have to find a seat that's winnable. I wouldn't run in a seat that, for sure I'm not going to win,
What level? Federal level?
Makes it
local
easier.
level?
Look, I might start at a local level. My goal is to be a congressman for somewhere in Florida, in South Florida specifically.
Do you see this as a promise that Donald Trump kept? Did you expect this to happen?
I won't say I expected it to happen. I think this is a campaign promise, making our lives whole. I think this is promises made, promises kept. I'm very thankful to the president for everything he's done, including this. Number one, with the pardon, obviously. But yeah, I think this is a president keeping his promises.